Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. Thank you for joining us. Our topic today is our fast-track onboarding and document verification in commercial lending. My name is Don Charlson. I'm the director of the West region at Fenestra. Also joining me is Karina Gold, the director of the Midwest region. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. Let's talk about the agenda today, which includes why using artificial intelligence and machine learning patented technology helps achieve results, how to communicate with clients easily from the start of loan requests to exception management, what it takes to reduce digital identity fraud, how to switch from paper-based transactions to digital banking processes, reducing carbon footprint, and we'll conclude with Q&A. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker for today's event. Pam Fitz has more than 30 years of experience in banking and financial services. Her deep industry expertise from working in lending has provided a thorough working knowledge of overall banking risk management and regulatory requirements. Pam specializes in commercial lending, with experience also in consumer lending and retail banking as well. Now it is my pleasure to hand it over to Pam.
We are living in a digital world. I think all of us know that more than ever before in the last 18 months. I'm fortunate. I get to talk to 300 institutions a year. Up until 18 months ago, I was on site meeting with you. Now I, like our customers at banks and credit unions, are living in a digital world. I'm applying online. I'm using online tools. You at the institution, your clients are using online tools more than ever before. So if we move to the next slide, let's talk about old and new thought processes. With that transition, we have accelerated the digital automation like never before, where before, if I were a member business lending borrower or a commercial borrower at an institution, I would come into the branch, the bank, meet with a lender, bring my stack of documents, and now I want that mobile convenience as a client. I want to do as much as I can on my cell phone. And if I can connect the dots to help a loan move forward faster, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's talk about a couple of statistics just to bring this home on the next slide. What I think about right now is in the last year, and this numbers accelerated at a rapid pace, 33% of commercial lending requests were submitted to online alternative lenders last year. That number is upscaling, as we all know. And as we move to the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about turnaround time and processing time. So when I think on the next slide about the number of days or number of hours it takes to focus our energy on moving a loan forward, it can be up to 26 days, the average time to decision. Based on studies, is about 26 days. So let me talk to you a couple things about a recent article from the Gartner Group, published September 30th, 2021. Most business leaders who want to think about modernizing the credit process are making that a strategic initiative, a top initiative, automating these processes. We want the borrower experience to be better than it ever has been before. We want it efficient. We want it organized. We want to reduce fraud and increase any compliance. Well, there's not a lot of compliance in member business or commercial lending. We want to reduce the throughput to let that reduction of decision time move downward from 26 days and get in that 1 to 7 day range if we can. So today on the next slide, we're going to talk about some of the improvements and productivity to get to that digital convenience with verifying one of the most taxing items in a commercial loan, the business's identity. How do you know who's borrowing when you can't see them face to face? So today's example is thinking about one of our new partners, IO, which provides verified business identity that allows client convenience using a Fusion Fabric.Cloud app connected to, for example, our commercial underwriting online platform. Now, we'll talk later, and you may have questions in the chat down the road about the different ways this can be utilized. But my example as we talk forward is thinking about going to the store on the Fusion Fabric.Cloud, looking at the app and saying, yes, I'd like to move my business borrowers forward in verifying their identity, managing all of the document collection in a secure fashion, and then moving it once when I know all of those documents have been collected into my LOS system. So let's picture ourselves as the normal commercial bank or credit union where I might want to collect those documents. Right now, it takes a lot to chase those documents. You're constantly nudging the borrower. Hi, I don't have the financial statements from Joe or Jane Smith for ABC LLC. You know, it's going to be a minimum of 15 to 20 documents collected on a simple LLC and a couple of individuals. Well, there's a lot of fraud risk with the digital opportunity. There's a lot of paper trail or email trail that goes along with collecting those documents. The turnaround time, we've talked about the numbers, you know, it varies, doesn't it? By the type of loan, be it an SBA loan, a commercial real estate loan, line of credit, or renewal. And that cost converts into time and money and valuable tasks where we don't have the extra staff these days, maybe, to go out and chase those docs from those borrowers. So the thousands of dollars and the servicing of that business is one of the problems we're trying to solve for. So let's move to the next slide and talk about our partner, IO, who can reduce turnaround time for the loans. Now, you can say, boy, 90%, what does that mean? So when I think about verifying the business identity of the borrower, I'm going to speed this up by allowing the customer to control the digital experience based on the feed from you, the institution, that says, I need to verify their identity. I want to make sure that their records from the Secretary of State are validated. I want their tax accountant to participate and provide those financials. I have a number of other items based on type of lending, but you design the portal, you design the look and feel, and with the built-in machine learning and artificial intelligence that this partner vendor has provided, you can have confidence in a reliability score on those borrowers and documents before you begin the loan request to analyze and work with the underwriting. The documents are validated digitally. So let me just give you an example before we move forward a little bit. How do I digitally validate a document? Well, based on that machine learning and the patented technology, I'm going to be able to read that document and understand if it came from a reliable source or if it was Pam who simply wrote in crayon, hey, here's my financial statement, or maybe forged a number. So that's the value in getting the reliability score to give you confidence on moving that entire loan forward with reduced risk and fraud. So let's move to the next slide and dig in a little deeper. As I think about the next slide, and I think about the transition to the end-to-end lending information, let's talk about the beneficiaries, the borrower, and the lender portal overview. So what I believe you're looking at is the end-to-end commercial lending platform possibilities. At the beginning, a borrower applies for a loan request. Well, let's take them out into the portal. Let's have them identify those questions, those documents, those answers to literally a very brief online application. Have that moved into the commercial underwriting system. Let the lender have a view into that from their portal and move that loan forward through the decisioning, automation, and production of those loan documents in a compliant fashion, maybe even e-signing some of those documents, and then boarding that back up to the core. Now, let's not forget the recurring document ticklers. They play a part in this too on the annual reviews. So as I move to the next slide, and I think about now, a little bit about how IO's changing the game and what it is. It provides a central location for the client and the financial institution to gather and track documents. There's built-in identification and e-signature opportunity. The patented technology, as I've mentioned, verifies the documents in real time, preventing fraud and safeguarding customer privacy. There's a vault for the customer that only they have access to. IO has also built in checklists. As we well know in commercial and member business lending, checklists help feed the entire lending process, making sure we have all the documents gathered, they are verified, and reduces those requests back to the borrower. The workflow can be tailored and customized. On the next screen, what I'm going to do now is talk through, and then we're going to see a little bit of a visual on the software, but we're going to think about the customer portal. Where does the customer log in? Well, you've got a website. They could log in from the website. Or B, your lender could send this request that's tailored to that borrower, have them collect a number of information points, and then push that into the institution's site to verify and move into our lending underwriting solution. The online customer portal will guide them through the digital checklists set up by your institution. When the customer uploads or requests documents from themselves or the tax accountant, IO uses trusted sources like the Secretary of State. Maybe you want the borrower to pick up the business transcripts from the IRS. You might even want a borrower to pull a soft pull on a credit bureau of themselves. You pick the sites. There are over 130 sites that the solution can connect to. If the documents are verified with authenticity, IO will extract the data points, cross-check those docs, and save time throughout the entire lending process. So let's think about now that customer information is locked. It's in a vault. As soon as the client pushes the information, acknowledges the electronic, yes, I'm going to do this electronically, then the lender or the financial institution portal will have a number of items that will show basically a green light, yellow light, red light. Hey, have we gathered the docs? And they will also see a view of the customer's business identity, the members, the guarantors, the agents, maybe a tax accountant, again, for that business identity. Now, the lender can initiate this loan request. They can change the docs. They can say, hey, oh boy, I need another doc, and reinitiate that process back to the borrower. They will have ample access to review and accept those documents, giving the customer information back to the institution to review the portal. And the onboarding and collection also helps not only with customer due diligence, but the ongoing recurring ticklers within the solution, those annual reviews. What I'm going to do now is move forward, and we're going to look at the live software. So bear with me while I share control of my screen and share with you now the online borrower portal. So Don, if you're not seeing this, go ahead and please interrupt me, but otherwise I'm going to assume that what you're looking at right now are the business identity cards that a lender might see, or an analyst, whoever's managing the portal, of 6 borrowers who have applied with Pam, the lender, at the institution. I've got the ability to look at a dashboard to see where all of my loans are coming from, statistics, analytics. But as a lender, I really care about reflective roof coating. And this particular company, I'm going to be able to see immediately the view of all of their entities, the companies, the agents, the guarantors that were reflected on the statement from the Secretary of State website. Now, as you draw your eye down the middle part of the main menu, the documents that are provided by Reflective Roof Coating, LLC, last requested October 6th, have been submitted. You'll see approved, submitted. Hey, pull your business information from the Secretary of State site. We can open up that detail, see the information. But as a lender, I can scroll down and very quickly see that there's a task that is pending where the borrower has not yet logged in to their IRS website to pull in those tax transcripts. They're reminders reflecting that the borrower can go back, pull that information. As I think about additional tasks, I mentioned I could add additional tasks, additional documents that will all be seen here within the solution. Other items you'll see is the reliability score on the right-hand side of the menu. We can score and you can designate kind of that high, medium, low, or out of 100 points. This feels like it's an 86. And understand the detail of that score if you'd like that visually presented. And the last thing I'm going to point out on this menu view is the next auto update of requiring information or financials is driven by the institution. That next auto update now is in a year where we'll nudge in email or text that borrower to update a series of documents. When I think about a couple other features and functions, keep in mind you can build those smart checklists. You can add that checklist items. I've just got 5 samples here for working capital, SBA lending, lines of credit, mortgage, commercial real estate. So depending on those activities, you're going to tailor the documents, the order, the type, even the launch sites of where you want those borrowers to go to collect information, provide back to you, to expedite that new loan request, and manage the online financial portal. So with that, the automation, the centralization of how this data is saved keeps everyone on track. Many toggle switches at the top, looking at what I've completed or not completed or waiting for information. I have real-time information at my fingertips to look at all of the roles, all of the documents. And now I'm going to stop sharing this desktop and come back to our presentation. So again, Don, if you're not seeing me move forward to the simple digital experience, do let me know. When I think about the digital client experience, again, what do folks want? They want easy and configurable. Now, keep in mind, credit culture change is hard to implement. This may not apply to 100% of your borrowers. It may apply to 50% at your institution. There are still going to be people who want high touch, high value experiences and in-person experiences, no problem. The solution is easy, it's configurable. We're going to brand that to your institution's site. You're going to tailor those workflow tasks. This drives what I'll call hyper automation improvements in productivity from assessing the completion of that loan app or that online loan request or the request of those documents to the multiple LLCs and individuals. It automates, reduces the hours to completion, and takes that lift out of my lender inbox. So with that, it's mobile enabled, if I forgot to mention that, an iPad, a Surface Pro, a PC, and can be used to enhance that digital self-service client portal option. On the next slide, another problem that we're trying to solve for here is that customer onboarding experience. I just wanted to toss out another statistic, and I commonly hear this in my daily work. boy, how many different people are contacting from the lender to the analyst to the loan doc prep folks, that borrower? And it's surprising to me that banks say they may contact half as much as the customer reported seeing contacts on multiple documents, especially when they're involved in multiple LLCs. So as you know, we send a lot of requests for those current documents, reducing fraud, making sure we're in compliance, covenants are met on lending engagements. IO, our partner, helps reduce that risk and improve those processes. So Don, I wonder if we have any questions here. Back to you, Don.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Pam. That was a great representation of the operational efficiency and security this solution offers and how it benefits the customer experience and the member experience. So very well done. Thank you. We do have a couple of questions. Pam, the first question we have is, can I connect the information to my core if the member is already a member, or do I need to re-enter the data? So I think that could apply to banks or credit unions in your response.
Yeah, Don, great question. So absolutely. If I'm an existing member of a credit union and I have a member application database, we can ask that simple question, do you already have a membership with XYZ credit union? And yes, knowing your customer and pulling in that data absolutely can be done. Likewise with my core accounting system, if I have an account, yes, let's know me and not make that borrower or the person requesting the loan put in that same information again. Yeah, great question, Don. I hope that answered it.
Great. Super. And a related question to that, another posed is, can this system operate independently of others? Can it just be a standalone solution that they could use?
Yeah, fabulous question. I kind of alluded to, the ecosystem and that lending portal, but absolutely. We see this solution being independently used, not tied to any other systems. For example, not specifically into your commercial LOS, but being a little bit more broadly deployed. Yes, it can be a standalone system. I hope that answers
Wonderful.
the question, Don. Yeah.
I think so. Another question is, it's kind of related to that too, so if you could expound on this a little bit, how easy is this system to implement?
Yeah, great question. When I think about our vendor partners, generally deployment is a much less period of time than maybe a full-blown commercial LOS and a loan documentation system. But this particular solution can be deployed in 2 weeks. Yes, I said 2 weeks. So what would happen in those 2 weeks? Let's imagine, if you will. Number one, you have a website. You might want to connect the questions in the online app. You build checklists, right? You're going to be totally in control of changing those checklists. Maybe you want to start out only using this for a loan officer to push an email to the borrower to collect 5 or 7 items. That's easy to configure. In fact, I've learned how to configure this in about a couple of day process. It's very quick and easy. So from start to finish, 2 weeks, Don. I hope that answers it for now. There's always variables if you want to connect out to a credit bureau or LexisNexis or pull in other extra data, but that might take another couple of days.
Wonderful. Thank you. Another question we have is, can standard packages be created on based loan types? In other words, what documents are required for that loan type?
Yeah, fabulous question. Go ahead, Don.
No, I was going to clarify for it. It sounds like you got it.
I want to make sure I'm clarifying, so thank you. So let's say I've got a commercial real estate loan or a working capital line of credit, something like that, or maybe an SBA loan. Yes, I can create 3 separate checklists or 3 separate types of documents I might need from that borrower. Let's go a different direction. Maybe I have an ag borrower and I need specifics from that ag borrower. And maybe I have an asset-based lending borrower where I want monthly recurring borrowing base statements provided back or proof of inventory. So yes, those can be tailored not only to the type of loan, but maybe to the type of borrower or other experiences. And I'm more than happy to expand on examples. I didn't really go into that checklist and show too much depth there, but very easy to do. Back to you, Don.
Well, and I might add that we're more than happy to have personalized presentations for those of you who would like to learn more about it. So please be sure to reach out to us and we'll tell you how to do that at the end of the call. Another related question is IO able to transfer the documents?
Yes, and Don, thank you for asking. I didn't really come back around to the full solution. So when I think about transferring documents, yes, IO pulls the information. It's stored at the lender's desktop. And yes, the value here is connecting those documents for use all the way through the lending cycle. And today we move those documents into our Fusion Credit Quest solution so that those docs can land in the Credit Quest area to be used by analysts, loan processors, and eventually end up in your imaging system should that loan be approved. So yes, IO could independently move documents, or yes, through connectivity through our solutions, absolutely, those docs, borrower name, address, city, state, zip, and pertinent information flow forward. I'll pause, Don.
Thank you. Here's a related question. Is there any pipeline reporting such as how is an application gathering, credit underwriting, approved, closed, et cetera? So what's the pipeline reporting for where it is in the process, I think is how we're asking.
So, yeah, Don, and help me out a little bit. And if the person asking the question wants to clarify further, I'll take a first pass at this. But from when I think about pipeline reporting, and I do think about commercial lending, I think about that pipeline as managed in our Fusion Credit Quest commercial underwriting solution. Where is that stage of the borrower's request? Has it been approved? Is it moving to our loan documentation system, Laser Pro? All of that can be managed in our central system. Now, there's more about just the pipeline of the documents that I might have missed in that question, but that would all be very visual in that lender portal. And yes, clients would get communication back to kind of give status or get nudged if they hadn't provided something. Don, you might ask me another question if you'd like, if the answer wasn't clear.
No, I think it was a very good question. And if I understood you correctly, this is the pipeline is best carried through with Credit Quest or
Yes.
An LOS system of some kind, more than it would be through IO itself. But yes, it does have the capability to do that. Okay.
I think that's a great summary, Don. Thank you.
You covered this, but if you could address it again, how do borrowers access the portal? So how does the end consumer or the commercial account, how do they access the portal?
Yeah, great question. Let's pretend I'm a borrower and I have a Google email account. So the borrower will get an email. They could get a text message too if you wanted on that cell phone. But let's pretend I'm in Google email or Outlook email. I get a request from the lender that says, hey, we see you want to request this loan. And if you can verify with multi-factor authentication yourself, we're going to send you a super secret ID, a number, you're going to validate, and then we're going to ask you a series of questions where you then, the borrower, use your email account, logging into the secure portal that is yours, your identity, Pam or Don with your business, ABC LLC, and you go out and answer questions in the checklist, upload those documents in this secure vault. So you alone have control of the vault. You can also ask others to participate. So as a borrower, Don, you're able to ask Troy, your tax accountant, to actually upload your financial documents if you'd like. And that's all Troy's task would be doing as Troy, the tax accountant. So the end game is it's email, it's multi-factor authentication, it's then Pam or Don uploading those documents in the secure vault, which is in the cloud.
And you described earlier that that vault can be accessed with any mobile device or whatever access point.
Yeah. So if I'm on my iPhone, if I'm on my Surface Pro, my iPad, my PC, anywhere in the world that I have email or Wi-Fi accessibility, I can access this portal. So as we know, people are anxious to travel, moving around, but they've got business to attend to. If my annual review comes in from the FI and I'm just not sitting at my desk watching for that, I can access that anywhere, anytime. Don, did that help answer the question?
Perfectly. Thank you, Pam.
You're welcome.
Another great question I see here is what reporting capabilities are there, whether it's end of quarter, year end? Is there any loan production reporting or are the reporting available to the system?
Yeah, great question. I briefly touched on this in the live view, that there's a dashboard of information from the borrower requests, the ongoing documents, what we have from a green light, yellow light, red light perspective, where those loans from a data analytics perspective are coming from. You know, if you're a nationwide lender, you can see all of those loans across the United States, we'll say. But there's dashboard reporting, there's configuration available, and yes, there's database capabilities to extract that information for other uses. So Don, that's the portal. And then of course in our LOS, let's say Credit Quest, that tool also has reporting capabilities.
Wonderful.
Back to you.
So for the questioners, if you want to redirect the question or if we didn't quite cover it, please don't hesitate to respond back. I have another question. Can IO be used to provide documents to the customer? Obviously, it collects the documents, but can it provide documents to the customer? Yes,
it can be. Hi, I've created this doc. Lender wants to review it. Maybe put their, I'm going to use this word loosely with the e-signature word, but their stamp on it, right? Don at my bank, date and time stamp, to return a document to that client and push it back to them. It doesn't quite replace our full e-sign capability of signing documents, but yes, I can push back and add a task to send a document back to a particular borrower. I think that was the question, Don, right?
I think so too, Pam. Okay. Thank you very much. I think that concludes the questioning, Pam. Before we wrap up the Q&A, is there anything else that you wanted to add to our conversation?
You know, Don, I just thank you for the questions. I appreciate the opportunity. And for me, having been in commercial lending for a long time, this is the most revolutionary thing I've seen to really move that credit culture forward for those who want that digital experience. So I'm thrilled with the product and I thank you for the time. So looks like we've got some marketing information and contact. Back to you, Don. Thank you.
Right. Yes, again. So I want to thank everybody for participating today. If you have any additional questions about the presentation or about Fenestra's lending solutions, we invite you to please visit fenestra.com/commercial what's next, which you see on the screen here. or email us at americasmarketing@finastra.com. Please let us know how we did today by filling out a survey that will appear on your screen after we close the call. And we want to thank everyone for attending today's Lunch and Learn. On behalf of Finastra and our presenter, thank you for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.